Hello and welcome to VitoshAcademy. Today we are going to take our very first steps into the world of Docker containers. We will build a tiny CRUD application in Python using FastAPI and SQLite. Inside the containers, it will be one container, so inside the container our application will let us do the following: create a new list with to-do items. Yes, list the items out, update them, delete them, and all of this will run clean in an isolated Docker container, so it doesn't matter what's on your computer, it will just work. So just to see or to show you what the whole thing would look if you stay up to the end of the video, it should be something like this. For example, here we'll write a new title that says subscribe to VitoshAcademy, and in our case it is not completed because the completed is false, and it is the sixth thing that I'm giving here. I'll just write one with true. And if we go into Docker, so to say in our local host here, and of course we click refresh and pretty print, we will see here the 7th and the 6th, subscribe to VitoshAcademy true and subscribe to VitoshAcademy false. And additionally, we will be explaining everything that we are building. And finally, just because we love making more interesting things and mixing worlds, we'll connect our Docker API straight from Excel with VBA and pull the list of the to-dos and paste them into worksheet. Don't worry, I'll not bother you with the VBA code, I'll just show you how it works. So let's start and see where are we going to reach. So first thing first, our file is going to be named to-do app, and here we would need the following files. So the first one would be called main.py. The second one would be called requirements.txt. Yes, as simple as this. Then we would have one called simply Dockerfile without any extension. And just for convenience, we'll have one folder called data, and this is where our local.db file would be present. Okay, so first things first, let's think how to put the data into the main file. I have already prepared something for you, so let me show you how it looks. Not going to bother so many people writing stuff. This is the whole Python file, exactly 100 rows. And let's build and speak about what do we have there quite quickly. So we have the imports, OS, SQLite tree, typing, FastAPI, Pydentic. We have the database path. This is just for the security reasons. So it's going to be data app.db, great. Our app here would be FastAPI object, which is going to be minimal to do CRUD. Yeah, description, beginner friendly, zero front end, makes sense. A few classes are needed: to do in, to do update, to do out. And here are the functions. First one, row to do, pretty much saying what is happening. And here we see that the ID is pretty much automatic. The title is the thing that we give, and completed is also a Boolean function that we give. Get connection is pretty much the way to connect to our database path. And in our case, the database path would be just a file into a folder. Okay, so whenever we need our whole thing, we'll create a table. If it doesn't exist, then it would be ID integer primary key, auto increment, title, text not null, and completed or not completed. It's going to be an integer, but in our case we're going to treat it as a boolean because we have it like that. So it's 0 and 1. Let me illustrate it, how it looks like. Title, completed, ID, perfect, everything's fine. And then we connect and we close. This is on the init, on the event of the startup. Okay, then we have here for post, for get, to forget, one for patch, and this is the update, and we have the delete. Let's go a bit more into details. You see when we post, if it is good, we have the 201 status code. 201 is one more than 200. 200 means okay, 201 means okay with a change. So both are great. And here we see the nice SQL that we're actually executing. Insert into to-dos, title completed, values. We are not giving the third one, the auto ID, just because it's an auto increment, we don't need to give it. Yeah, and then we close the connection. Great. Pretty much the same here. Select start from to-dos, order by ID, descending, fetch all. Yeah, works. Pretty much this is how things are. The same with getting by ID. Just here, the select by ID is what it is working. Then updating, that should be a bit more interesting. Let's see how it works. Okay, if the data doesn't exist, just read it, nothing to change. Otherwise, it gives best way how to change the data, the title, and the completed. Yeah, makes sense. At the end, we get update to do set that one, where ID is that one, where ID is values. Okay. And at the end, we want to execute the new row that we have updated. Okay. Delete is pretty much as simple as we can go. Delete from to-dos where ID, so we delete by ID. Well, this is honestly as simple as we can go. Let's think about what should we write in the requirements. Okay, I have opened it this way. Let's think about something. Okay, I'll write here FastAPI and version 0.1110 and unicorn standard 0.30. Control and S and save. FastAPI, yes. Unicorn standards 0.30, yes, perfect. And now the most important part, we should be talking about the Dockerfile. This is the Dockerfile that I have prepared. Just let's copy it and I'll just paste it here, and then I'll try to explain it, everything in it. We will be opening with Notepad like that, and we can fix the language into something like Python, for example, just to get everything great. Okay, fair enough. Now let's concentrate and let's try to explain what the Dockerfile is and actually what it brings exactly. Yeah, so this is just a comment. We can remove it, but let's leave it. It's okay to be there. It worked on the previous version. So Here from Python 3.11 Slim, this is a base version, lightweight Python 3.11. Here the environment pretty much saying that we're avoiding PYC files, and we always flush std out, std er, which is useful for logs and everything else. Workdir, our workdir is this one, the app one. Yeah, and this is where all commands run inside, so to say. Yeah, then we have copy requirements.txt, so to say this one here, and we are going to do pip install on this. Let me see how to open it. Yeah, like that. We'll do pip install on this. Then this is pretty much the install. Pretty much what we are saying is copy requirements txt and run the pip install on whatever it was on the requirements. Then copy also main py and add it into our application code. Then this expose 8000 is pretty much the declaration that the container will listen on port 8000. Environment db path is pretty much as it is mentioned here in the comments. There would be a file called app.db and it would be written here. And last but not least, we had the final command, which looks like that. cmd uvicorn main application host port. So this is a default command, runs uvicorn, and it's serving FastAPI on 0000, which is localhost, and port 8000. Great, so now we have everything. We have the data, the Dockerfile, the main PI, PY, and then the requirements. Now let's build our Docker. First of all, we should have something like this one, and it should be running. This is the important thing. Great. As you can see, currently I'm having, I guess, just one only that is running, and they should be two after some time. Okay, this one is pretty much the one running. It's called todo mine that we are building now together is going to be called todo -app. So let's see how we're gonna build it. Okay, so we open our PowerShell. This is how the PowerShell looks. And just to avoid some misapplications, I'm going to open the PowerShell with cd and then into the exact application here. Let's try to do it. So docker build and .t, then todo app. Okay. todo -app, and then of course we're missing the dot. So let's see, Docker is building and it's saying what exactly is happening. Some pip installs are running on my computer, or on the Docker. Yes, and we can wait a bit. Already 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. What is next? It even said that we can have everything. Yeah, what is next is pretty much docker run rm -p, and then we see 8000. Now it's already like a pre-given from the previous ones. Let's see whether it would be enough. Data to do min, nope, it's to do up. It's another application, and then to do up. What is important here is that we start a container, map the host port to 8000 to the container 8000. This is host port 8000 to containers port 8000. And then we mount .data to .data inside. And we press enter. Port is already allocated. Run docker, okay. That's not okay because port is already allocated. So it means that we should stop the other one. This one, and let's think how to stop it. Can I delete it? Delete forever? No. Just for the sake of it, delete forever twice. Delete container it uses and try again, okay. Delete this container. Great, and then we go to the images, the volumes, the containers, the builds. Where were we exactly? Wait. Volumes, containers. Okay, to do min, I'm going to delete it. Yes, now it should be working. If we try again our magic, there is nothing on 8000 and it works. Great. Okay, let's see what we can do with the already working Docker. I mean, first of all, we have something in the database. It's just 12 kilobytes, pretty much an empty table most probably. So what we can do is we can open the localhost 8000 docs and see how it looks. For example, the get, how it looks like, see, trying it out. We have no parameter, yeah, clear. We see the responses and they are pretty decent. Response body, response headers, can we change them? No. Let's try with post. I'm just thinking, can I change something here? No. Get. We have patch and we have delete. That's great. This is pretty much telling us everything that we want to know. Let's get an example of this one and try to do something. Even with a parameter, no parameter for the get. This is just for the post. Let's see, try it out. So title would be first entry and completed would be true. And second entry as a title would be okay as well. Second entry, great. It worked. And now let's try to get whatever we have, like the list, execute. And we get the second entry and the first entry. Okay, this is not so fancy. Let's try to do it another way. I mean, most probably you will never do it with a browser window. Let's try to do it with curl and with our beloved git bash, or just with the bash. Okay, looks like this. Let me just do it like that. Okay, see, it was not found. This one is found. Okay. What about clear? Yes, this is what I wanted. So let's see curl. And we have s, then we have http column localhost 8000. I'm just curious. Okay, not found. And then we have the to-dos. And we have the second entry completed true, ID 2. And we have the first entry completed true, ID 2, which is quite okay. Let's see on the first one. Yeah, and pre-print is also quite fun. What I also wanted to show is like how do we see what we have in the SQL database. So in order to see, we should open our SQL database like this. These are like the old things that I have prepared. They are already not correct, I hope. And you see that somehow it is still relating to like the old data. So I have to explain that I need to open a database, and it should be this one to do app data. And yeah, this should be enough. And now in order to see what I have is pretty much my first entry and my second entry. Yeah, fair enough, works. 2 rows completed. Yeah, I can show the update and the delete, but I'm pretty sure that not a lot of people would be really interested in seeing me typing update and delete. These are rather standard things. I'll write them somewhere around. What is more interesting is trying to get this data with Excel and VBA, and this is at least what I will try to produce now. So I have created a file called Docker in Excel. It's a binary file, Microsoft Excel binary, you can see here. And if you open it, there is nothing. I'll just open it in VBA like this, and I'll paste some code. Just quick explanation about the code. First of all, when we work with Excel, we always need option explicit on top of everything. So we define a few variables, HTTPS object, JSONS object, item, and I as long. We create the object, we open the localhost 8000 to-dos, and we send. And then if the status is 200, then we require the JSON parser, which is something that I have already prepared. I'll show you later the JSON parser. So if the status is 200, then setting the JSON in a way that this guy who created the JSON parser is actually helping us to parse the JSON into Excel with VBA. And we simply say, okay, our value is ID, our value on the first row and the first column is ID, our value on the first row, second column is title, then it's going to be completed. Just to show you how it works, if you say here ID, tada, ID showed here. And if you see here, for example, completed, here once it's completed. Okay, no drama here. And for each item in the JSON, it should start working really nice. For example, sales I something is the item completed in the JSON, and it should be working quite fun. Okay, so I said I'm going to explain a bit about the VBA JSON. This is how the thing looks like. The guy has made, Tim Ho has made some kind of really popular repository with 2000 stars already, and it works. This is what you want to know about it. How to install it, pretty much also extremely easy. You just can go on the latest release, download it, unzip it, and then you simply do the following: import file, you import the BAS, and that's it. It looks great, it's huge, and it's maintained, and it works. Then we compile again, and we have an error, and the error is because we have a dictionary here, and we have not defined it. It's something rather standard in Microsoft. It was Microsoft scripting, from what I remember. Yeah, scripting runtime. Let's try with this one and see. Yeah, it worked. Great. And now let's go and run this one. I mean, it's not a problem that the code is in the sheet, but I kind of like it in the module. Will be called main because it's a nice name, and I also rename this stuff to main. So let's put here something and see how it will start working. Yes, for each item in JSON, it already did it, but let's do it once more. The JSON, this is how the JSON is read. Shift and F9 is going to show us. Okay, and here are the items: title, completed, and ID. Title, completed, ID. And if you say, for example, something like this, item, and then title, it would give us the title of the item. Or at least I hope so, but obviously not. Probably I should press F8. So now, yes. And then ID. And then completed, it would be 1 or 0. In our case, true. Okay, so far so good. This is what we can do with Docker and APIs and fast APIs with Excel. I mean, I always like when there is something with Excel, showing that Excel is not simply a simple worksheet. It actually can do pretty much anything that you would like it to do. Just don't cite me that I have said this one. But yes. Okay, now let's summarize. It would be a bigger summary because summaries are also important. Our application has 3 important files: Dockerfile, main, Python, and requirements. And we have everything in the data. The backup database is written there. So first, we are doing the imports. We declare the database path that we are using pretty much. Yeah. I haven't talked about Pydantic that imports the base model, but it defines what our requests and responses pretty much look like, and this actually saves us a lot of code. So we read the DB path as a variable, and if it is not set, we know where to set it, in our case here. Then we declare the app, so to say, and it's the instance with the title and description. Yeah, minimal to do CRUD is rather good. Then we have these 3 classes: to do in, to do update, to do out. To do in is pretty much what a client sends when creating a to do. As you see, title and completed, nothing else. Yeah, and this one is actually optional. If it is not given, usually it's false, but he's a nice guy, I have given it all the time, so it's okay. To do update is for partial updates. Well, fields are optional. This is a bit advanced technology. We can call it advanced if you live in the 80s. For now, it's rather okay. And to do out is what do we return actually, and it inherits from to do in, from this one, and we return the integer. Pretty much, yeah, it adds an integer, it doesn't return an integer. I mean, we return the whole thing. We return to do in with an integer. That is added. Okay, now these 2 are the so-called database helpers. So row to do with to do out turns SQL row into a to do out object, pretty much this one. And the get connection pretty much is an easy one, opens the connection to the database, returning rows as dictionaries. Yeah, fair enough. And then we have the startup event. So pretty much when the app starts, it runs this one, and as I have already explained, we create a whole table with it if it doesn't work, if it doesn't exist. And it also makes a folder with the path name if it does not exist. So far so good. Get connection, I have explained. Okay. Fair enough. Then we have the 5 endpoints. The post is pretty much this one. Takes the JSON, inserts it into database, and returns a row of the JSON. Get, then we have the get to do with an ID, this one, which is good because it reads a single row, and if not found, returns 404. Well, fair enough. And it looks based on the integer. And then the update is the fancy one. Yeah, it accepts a partial JSON title completed, builds an SQL update only with those fields here. As I said, this is something advanced for the 80s, I guess. You can do an update based on whatever you give. Like if you give an update on the title, then you're updating the title. If you give update on the completed, you're updating the completed. Great. And if nothing is to be updated, then pretty much it returns a 404. And then the delete deletes just one row. If everything's okay, returns 204. So 200 is 200 okay, 201 is 200 with an update, and 204 is 200 with a successful deletion. So that's it. The Dockerfile, I have explained this one quite well. So pretty much it's only like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines. It is self-explanatory. And yeah, what have we done? We have added some things here. Let's add a third entry. Something like this. Would it be? Yeah, localhost, JSON, have fun and dance. Yeah, have fun and dance. And we're gonna write one for true as well. And we can write subscribe to VitoshAcademy and enjoy. And at the end, let's see our entries in the database DB browser for SQLite. So we have it like this, should be select, and then start from goes. And we see the last one that I have just entered is subscribe to VitoshAcademy and enjoy. So enjoy the rest of your day and have fun. Goodbye.